Welcome back to week 7 of Battery Man. Can you believe it? Week 7. My journey in becoming an electrician, where today we're going to be looking at cables. Everywhere you go, there's cables. They're buried in the walls, under your feet, or above your head. Let's find out some of the cables that you might come across while trying to hang that mirror up that your wife's been nagging you about for months. That electricians would come across. First up is single core PVC insulated cables. Insulated means that it has a PVC covering its internal copper core. Most of the cables that we come across will use PVC, and I think all have some sort of insulation protecting the internal conductor. This type of cable usually is used in trunking or conduit, and it can have solid core or stranded copper conductors. We would generally expect to find it in the line, neutral or earth colours. We then have its big brother, the single core PVC insulated cable with an additional sheathing. These are the sort of cables we'd expect to find on meter tails between the consumer unit and back to your supply meter. This cable has an extra outer sheathing to provide it with mechanical protection. Next up, we got single core PVC insulated cable. This also contains the CPC. This is for circuits that require a circuit protective conductor, although right now I can't think of any uses for this particular cable. We then have the most common PVC insulated and sheathed flat wire cable. This comes in either twin plus CPC or 3-core plus CPC. It's the main cable that's used all around our homes, businesses, offices, so on. The 3-core version of this is used for two-way light switching. We then move on to heat-resistant PVC insulated and sheathed cables. These can handle ambient temperatures of 85 degrees Celsius, although not suitable for heating appliances. Each core is insulated individually and then as a group. We then move on to rubber or vulcanized rubber cables. These date back to a time before PVC cables, often with a black exterior. Over time, they can deteriorate due to overloading or high temperatures and direct sunlight. Apparently, the rubber becomes brittle over time anyway because of the oxygen in the air, which means that this cable can become dry and crumbly. So, if an old house was to be renovated and it was found in the walls, it's a bit of a no-brainer to replace it, whatever the condition might be. We then have light-duty cables that feed things like lamps, radios and TVs. This is a PVC insulated and sheathed, flat twin, flexible cord. The two inner cores are insulated and an outer sheathing is there to protect them. Then there's bell wiring, which is quite simply two wires that are joined in the centre. This is used for low voltage applications. Apparently alarms use them also. Most of the cables so far have used PVC, which does have its limits, especially with temperature. There is a cable which has thermosetting insulation, XLPE, cross-linked polyurethane, which has an operating temperature of 90 degrees Celsius compared to the 70 of PVC. This can end up meaning that you can reduce the size of the conductors due to the allowed extra heat. Fibre optic cables often don't find a place in domestic settings, but they are widespread. They allow laser light to pass along a cable from one end to the other. The light bounces back and forth along a thin glass-like channel. Specialist tools and equipment are needed to join these cables. I believe it involves melting the ends to provide a seamless path for the laser light. Whatever you do, don't look down them when there's any possibility of laser light travelling through them. The signal at the other end is strong enough to damage your eyes. They're also easily damaged if they're bent. Concentric cables are used for high voltages. They're used in power distribution or the supply to a property. They have a round shape with a single or set of cores. There are many different types for different situations, each with its own British standard mark. Well, there you have it, another week's training. Some of the cables you may know, others they may be new to you. Personally, I didn't know that the cable that feeds your home was a concentric cable, with the inner being the line and the outer being the combined neutral and earth. I'd love to know if you use or see different types of cables in different countries. I'm sure that you're not necessarily following British standards for cables if you're in a different country. So let me know what you use in a different country that you perhaps live in. I'll catch you next time. Battery Man out.